yourself scouting during that open day, and you kind of sit down and you go, okay, here's what we have to get better at as an offense. Here's what I have to get better at as a play caller. Kind of what did you come up with? What were some of your thoughts as you head into this final month or so of the season?
Yeah, you're always kind of, since we've had 2 bye weeks now, you're kind of really cross-referencing the self-scouts from both of those time periods, kind of comparing both of those that we did during each of the bye weeks. So that's been great for us. I mean, came out of the first bye week and you're 2-1 and thought that we improved in some areas that we needed to on offense in that 3-week span. But obviously the biggest thing is running efficiently and effectively. We did that in spurts in that 3-game stretch. Certainly against Boston College, had a really good day and was efficient running the football that day. So we just got to manufacture and kind of compound that as we move forward. But like I said, a lot of it was really just trying to cross-reference from the 2, from any tendencies, but then exactly what you're saying, like what do we need to get better at, or what are we doing well, and then how can we manufacture more of that. So I think that's some of the, as coaches, kind of the big takeaways of trying to manufacture more of what we are doing well. So that for us was probably the most beneficial.
It's hard to run the football when the offensive line isn't playing well. How do you kind of get that group, to get back to a level where you can run it successfully?
Yeah, I mean, it's man, we got to be consistent that way, right? And I mean, like I said, we've had flashes where we've been pretty good up there and we've been solid, and we've had other flashes like any other position on our team where we've, we got to just be more consistent that way. So I think it's just continuing to grind, continuing to let the front know, like our offensive line, tight ends, backs, everybody understand, like, hey guys, we want to be successful. Like, we have to get this done. And so I think it's just emphasis on that as we move forward, and I think they can certainly feel that from us.
When you look at the SMU tape, the slow start on offense, just what do you attribute to that after being able to kind of assess that film?
Yeah, it just kind of was frustrating. I mean, it was kind of like we had to weather our own storm a little bit early in that game, and you've got CV in there, and kind of looking at it, you're like, well, he didn't play very good early. Well, a lot of it was kind of just things around him, to be quite honest. So, once we kind of weathered our own storm there, we kind of got going and got back in the game, and was able to create some momentum for our team. And so, yeah, I mean, that was a frustrating deal because I thought a lot of it was self-inflicted, which certainly can't happen and where you have to be better.
When you say things around him, what specifically are you talking about during that first quarter?
Yeah, I mean, we had a couple short yardage situations that we needed to convert just running the football, and we just didn't execute, didn't get it done. And I know we had a big blitz pickup that we needed to have happen where we had it was close with his arm going forward where they called it a fumble. So obviously that was a big play early in that game. And, I know defense, I believe, did a great job and held them to a field goal after that. But, took us off the field, and where we had a couple things going, had a first down or two, and was moving the football, and that certainly kills your offensive momentum early in that game. So just had to overcome that, and like I said, I thought CV specifically did a good job of hanging in there and bouncing back and ultimately giving us a chance to win.
What do you think it did for CV? I mean, what do you think? And then, talking with him in the locker room afterwards, he was pretty hard on himself, I thought, what have you already seen different from him in practice?
Well, I mean, quarterbacks are just always going to be their own probably hardest critic. I mean, that's the nature of this position and their position, and certainly with him and as an individual, he wants to win, and he's you saw toughness with him. I mean, he will hang in the pocket, he'll get hit, he'll try and stand in there and deliver. So I mean, you saw a lot of great things and some good attributes with CV in that game, and his ability to bounce back. So those were certainly some things that was great to see him with meaningful snaps and playing a full game of him having to go through that. So, I mean, that'll be experience that he's going to carry as long as he plays football. I mean, it's just going to be such a great thing for him to draw back on, and he should have some confidence coming away from his play. I mean, certainly there's a lot of things that we and he could have done better, but he should really have a lot of confidence moving forward from that. And And I've seen him just in practice, like just with some of the execution part of it, like some of just the urgency too. Like I've seen that improve and just pick up the more that he's had those reps, and now that he has true game experience, like you can really kind of see, I think, even his practice play elevate. So I'm certainly happy about that.
Do you feel like a game on the sideline maybe did Cade some good as well, just be able to watch things?
I mean, I think anytime you have an injured player, I mean, whether it's Cade, whether it's anybody, I mean, Antonio 2 years ago, Tyler Brown last year, I just think that always, in a weird sort of way, is going to give you perspective, right? And I think you got to learn to take value from everything, all right? So even when you're injured or even when things are going bad, you have to find a way as a competitor, as a person in sports, to find value from it. And I know Cade did. And Cade was a great teammate on the sideline for our team, for CV, and so anyway, I think he found a way to try and bring value and add value on game day.
Talk about weathering your own storm offensively. Just how do you kind of approach that during the open day to find different ways to start quicker?
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, we started really, really fast against North Carolina and Boston College. I mean, those were kind of the ultimate fast starts. And you have over 30 points in the first half in both of those games, and so yeah, once again, kind of to his question, it's like, how can we manufacture that to the best of our ability? And at the end of the day, it's finding things that you can manufacture that we do well offensively and trying to put them in position to do that early. And then just from an execution part of it, from a player standpoint, it's like, let's go do what we do, right? I mean, it's a game. We've been doing this in practice all week. Like, let's go execute that way with that attitude and that mindset, when we're in the stadium.
Your running back rotation. Why do you feel like those guys have not been able to get in consistent backups despite kind of wanting to get them in?
Yeah, I mean, again, we have to get those guys in, and they've got to rotate, and for obvious reasons. I mean, we need other guys to play and produce for us, and it also is going to help Adam Randall, throughout the rest of our season. So we just have to get those guys in. I mean, it's kind of a, really more of a rep and a play count now that we really just have to get to one way or the other. So that's certainly what we're going to do moving forward.
Last year, I guess is that an instructive lesson on that, as y'all rode Maffa so hard, and then late in the year he wasn't there?
Yeah, I mean, history shows, like, just whoever that is, like, that position's going to take a toll, right, at any level of football. And, we got guys that can help us, and so we just got to let them do it and let them play and have to go through, if it's growing pains or whatever it is, like, we're just going to have to do that because ultimately it's going to help our team from a big picture standpoint.
What has someone like Gideon Davidson and some of these younger tailbacks done that you've seen that warrants that kind of playing time?
To play?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's why we brought them here. Know that they're talented people. Know that they can kind of give us some different things that maybe Adam doesn't bring to the table as much, right? Like, I know y'all have heard me say it over and over again, but I do think we have variety in that room. And so, once again, I just think that's going to continue to help our offense and running it effectively or pass catching or whatever it may be. I just think that's going to add an element of production for us, right? And once again, help that position group and help Adam, throughout the season.
Is there any difference in terms of game planning when you don't know quite who the quarterback's going to be going into Saturday? Do you have like one?
It's a tough deal. Yeah, that kind of adds to the level of challenge for sure. Yeah, I mean, you got to try and prepare for everything, right? I mean, as his coaches, you're trying to do that with situational football, and if this happens, if it's bad weather, all those kind of different sort of circumstances. But certainly at the quarterback position, you try and, again, to me, ultimately, it's whoever is the quarterback, like, what does he do well? And it kind of always starts there, and then you kind of build your offense that way, all right? And that's, once we kind of knew it was probably going to be CV's show, we certainly tried to do that, with what we felt that he can handle and he can do well.
I guess just seeing him in a game now, does that give you more confidence in doing more with him, potentially, just because you've seen him?
Oh, yeah. I mean, now that the guy's played and he's had to battle through some ups and downs and was able to create and make plays. And so, yeah, I mean, that certainly gives him confidence, and it's going to give coaches confidence. Just like anything, when you have dependability, as a player, coaches are going to tend to favor that. And that to me is one of the most important characteristics players can have and coaches can have is dependability.
With Wesco down, just thoughts on receivers and kind of how that might shake out.
Yeah, I mean, Tristan Smith, obviously, Cole Turner, you're certainly going to have to step up for us, and excited to see them do that. I mean, they've been rotating more and more the last few games, but obviously this is going to provide, a lot of reps for those guys, and then still got to be able to move around. TJ and Antonio can certainly play anywhere, as well as Tyler Brown. So just those collection of guys are just going to have to be probably a little more ready to play different spots than maybe what we typically would.
Go ahead.
Chris Denson got a rep against SMU 2 weeks ago. I guess what has he kind of showed in practice for him to get a package for himself for a game?
Yeah, I mean he's definitely a different element for us, and he's just been coming on and doing a great job. He's been on scout team primarily most of the year, but that's such a great tool of development for him as a quarterback, and so he's just been coming on and getting better and better, and then obviously going into this last game with a little uncertainty at quarterback, just wanted to have something ready, with him, and felt like we had a little package for him, but, never really got to a bunch of it. Just wanted to have a few things that he could kind of give us a change of pace there, and potentially something that SMU wasn't ready for.
How surprised are you at the offensive line's inconsistency, just based on what you thought going into the year?
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of been a mixed bag a little bit on a few things up front. Like, we've had some spots where guys have been pretty consistent and played well, and then certainly with some injuries, that's always going to kind of change some things with guys getting dinged up or Elijah Thurman being out or just whatever it may be. So it's just been having to piece it together a little bit from a consistency standpoint, through practice as well, right? Like, you want to get your best guys on the field on game day, and I feel like at times this season it's been a deal where we're trying to get our best linemen ready to go, and they may not be practicing fully until kind of that Wednesday or Thursday later in the week, right? And that stuff adds up, right? It just does. But again, not to make excuses, we got to be better there. And, not just that position group. I don't want to single those guys out. We got to be better everywhere. But, they certainly know the charge moving forward.
Are you surprised with some of the breakdowns they've had this year, especially being veteran guys?
Yeah, I mean, anytime that it would be self-inflicted, yeah, I mean, that's going to be frustrating for an older group in general, guys that have played together. But we got to help them too, where we can as coaches on a few things. But in terms of self-inflicted stuff, that's always going to be frustrating, any position.
Anyone else for Coach?
As got with us earlier about players now behind the scenes that maybe are starting to stand out more, is there anyone that you feel like, man, this is someone that could really help this program out moving down the road?
You're kind of at the point now getting to the back half of the season, like kind of mentioned Chris Denson, like you can see a lot of things with him that certainly you're excited about. Just as some of our practice reps, having bye weeks, pretty fresh in our mind the last few weeks. So in those bye weeks, a lot of times you can rep maybe some of the younger guys or the people that haven't played as much and really try and give them some work, and Logan Brooking is one to me that has stood out on offense. I think he's going to be a really good player here, but just some of his physicality and the way that he can run has certainly stood out to me as of late. I just think he's gotten better and better as the season has gone on with where he's at. And then up front, Ronan O'Connell, he's played a little bit, but he's started to flash a little bit to me. I mean, he's a strong dude. He's gotten in a little bit the last few weeks, but just seeing him with probably the workload that he's gotten in practice, the last month or so, like I just feel like he's a guy that's improving steadily.
Anyone else? All right. Thank you, Coach.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Thanks.